done alongside BIRA. So BIRA, thank you so much for supporting this. Great to see so many BIRA members joining. And even if you're not a BIRA member yet, you're more than welcome to be here. So today the format is we've been running through our Christmas campaign suggestions. And what we've got is a list of 100 social media campaign suggestions that we will send to you after this webinar. And we're going to run through a chunk of them today. You're going to do 12, Hannah?
Yeah, yes. Wow. We've got 2 BIRA webinars left between now and Christmas, and we've got 40 left to do. So optimistically, 20 per session would be great, but we'll see how we go. But obviously, we will share the download afterwards. So if we don't get through all 20, then everyone will still get them to have a look at and decide which ones they like. So
amazing. And the purpose of this is to give you ideas that you can implement in your business for Christmas. We know that sometimes it can be quite overwhelming. It was amazing. When we started this, it seemed like a million miles away. And now, actually, it's just, somebody said it's 37 sleeps or something. It's scary, isn't it? So we're going to run through an idea, but then we're going to leap straight into the Maybe platform and show you how AI can bring that idea to life. We're not doing it for you, all 12 of them. I think Hannah's handpicked some ideas that means that you can see the suggestion, but then also see how AI and the Maybe platform can really bring that to life and help you execute it really well, but also really fast. The purpose of it maybe is to help you do your best work faster and give you all the tools and training you need to make sure that your communications are just on point and reaching your customers. So without further ado, Hannah, do you want to start from what number are we on today?
We're starting at number 60. So I thought I'd start at the top, just for anyone that hasn't joined previous sessions, just to see how many ideas you actually got here to choose from. And some of the ones that jump out are the gift guides, which work really well on social, behind the scenes content. People love to see kind of your team's prep leading up to Christmas and you decorating your store or whatever your prep involves. Alf on the Shelf, Ugly Sweater Day. I mean, that's a great one. There's just absolutely loads here, but just to show they are all very different ideas, you know, so they're kind of, there's so much to choose from. Christmas Pet Parade, virtual caroling. I won't subject people to that, definitely not. I'm not blessed with a singing voice. I still do sing, but I don't pretend that I can. But we're down to here. So we did virtual Secret Santa last week. So we're on to festive plant decor. So this is just where you might not be able to fit a big, beautiful Christmas tree inside your store, and you might just have your decorations up and or even just show, you know, decorating your plants at home. You might be a home interiors business, and you know, you can just show people some slightly different slants on how they can decorate their home at Christmas. But this idea is very Instagrammable. You know, obviously you can get some great images and share them. So it might just be part of you sharing how you decorate your home, a little bit of behind the scenes, or you might be sharing some tips for other people on how they can kind of decorate their home at Christmas. But it's just a nice, slightly different approach to, you know, some festive pictures on your feeds.
There's also scope here, Hannah, to actually do that as a footfall drive as well. So you could say, come and see how we've decorated our plants in store. So using it, you know, think laterally with all of these things, which is, it's an idea, and use it for yourself. So this could be, give your plants a holiday makeover, come and see how we've done it. So not only can you use the pictures on your feeds and the behind the scenes of doing it, but actually say, why don't you come into store and see how it looks? And then you can sell them the products to do it. So always think social's not just about the feed. It's actually about physically, how can you make it work, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. So that is a nice one. That's kind of just a bit different.
But which one are you going to show us on AI? Which one are you going to show?
We're going to, after Christmas wallpaper, we've got Santa's travel diary, and I thought that was a great one to do some images of Santa flying around the world. But this next one, Christmas wallpaper, is quite a specific one, and this is kind of giving people free Christmas wallpapers to put on their devices. Now, obviously, you could work in you know, your business logo, something about your business and stuff, but it might just be Dave, your dog that sits in the store with you every day with a Christmas hat on or something like that. But it's just a fun one. It's quite specific, so obviously it's very much for the tech savvy businesses out there, but it's one that whilst you're not selling what you do, you know, obviously you are keeping your business in the forefront of people's minds every time they log into their phone or every time they, you know, switch their laptop on. They'll see that then. So it's quite a, as I said, quite a specific one, but a nice one if that's within kind of, you know, your skill set and what you actually do. And then
because again, social is all about being front of mind, and what better than to have a wallpaper at end of year, new year coming, all sorts of things, people change, and it's a good time to jump on that.
Yeah, definitely.
So hold on to your hats. You're going to do some. Last week's webinar was all about socks in sleighs and creating sleighs with AI. What are you going to tempt us with today, Hannah?
This week, this one jumped out of me, Santa's travel diary. So obviously Santa travels everywhere on Christmas Eve, and why not share that on your socials? So, but clearly not all of us have to hand pictures of Santa in front of the Eiffel Tower or the Taj Mahal or wherever he actually is. So this is where AI can help. So the content idea is, ever wondered how Santa travels the world in one night? And then, you know, talking about his adventures on Christmas Eve. So that's an amazing idea that might appeal to you, but you might think, well, how can I bring that to life? You know, what captions, what images would I use with that to put it on my socials? And this is where maybe AI can help. So I've just flown over on my sleigh to Maybe. And if you go to marketing, all of you will be familiar with this if you've dived into Maybe or if already, but if not, obviously after the webinar, we'll send you not only the Christmas downloads, but a link to book in with us so you can get started with your free trial. But I'm going to go into new post, and this is where you create the magic. I'll just click on a feed. So you would, if you had a caption, you type it in there, but we're actually going to use the AI. I'm going to do the image first, Polly. I have to, because I'm just too excited about this part of it. So the more specific you are with your description, obviously the more detail will be in your image. This isn't finding images online for you, it is creating them with AI. So this is creating unique images depending on what you ask it to do. So we're going to ask it, what should we ask it, Polly? Santa Claus
traveling
past different landmarks.
Past different landmarks like the Eiffel Tower and and Big Ben.
Let's have.
And the beauty with this is it gives any size of business the opportunity to really be able to have great imagery, because it's all about stopping the scroll. And sometimes creating that imagery can be really hard, or if you use stock imagery and you've got the same imagery as something else, then it's kind of like, oh, it's not going to do it. So Hannah, show us how you can be really inventive.
What style should we go for? Should we go for colourful?
Let's go for dreamlike.
Dreamlike. There we go. And I think it also, you know, that was where the socks came up last week, because that idea was about having a sleigh, you know, with your special offers of the week. Oh, look.
Amazing.
It never fails to amaze me. It really doesn't. And to be honest, you'd use all of those. They're all lovely images, but you know, you might want to do different landmarks.
If you just go back one, Hannah, and then say, do watercolor, for example. If you feel this isn't your style, it's maybe too cheesy and you want to change the style, if you come down and choose watercolor, you then get a very different feeling, don't you?
Yeah. And you can pick what suits your brand, can't you, best? So, you know, you might want colorful and fun, or you might want a bit more of a classic style. So,
beautiful.
Oh, there we go. So, I mean, essentially we've got, you know, Big Ben, we've got the Eiffel Tower, you know, so you could use two of these images, you know, for either a carousel, or you could, you know, that could create two posts for you. But yeah, they are lovely.
Really good. So you create your images. Now, how could you create your captions using AI for your Santa going past the Eiffel Tower campaign?
Well, so the images were here under images, you do create using AI, whereas this button here, you've got generate with AI. And this is where you generate captions from scratch. So we've just got an idea. So I'm going to put in some detail. This is where my spelling is terrible when you know that there's lots of people watching.
So I'll leave you typing, Hannah, and I'll talk over it for a bit. So what you could do here is you could, for example, take the idea that we had in the original sheet and pop it in here, and then let the AI go to work. So don't feel like you're going to start all over again. You could literally take the suggestion from one of those 100 sheets, from one of those 100 ideas, and drop it in here, or do as Hannah's doing, which is move it forward and put the prompts in. But the beautiful thing is you haven't got to put in a finished caption. You just do as Hannah's doing here and typing the sort of idea of what you want. It's like giving, you know, a colleague a brief, and it can be quite a bad brief, which is what's so lovely. When I do it, there's so many typos in it, I can't tell you. You have pop some keywords in like Hannah's doing now, and then if you pop in Eiffel Tower as well, would that be good? And then you literally can then select the writing term. I know Hannah's favourite at the moment is grumpy, which I think is quite funny as we go towards Christmas. I don't know whether you can be grumpy for this, but what writing tone are you going to select today, Hannah?
It did. See, grumpy is great, but I think for this you need kind of excited or funny or something like that, don't you?
Yeah. Should we go for excited? Let's go for excited.
We'll have 3 variations, medium length.
And then this is creating the content for you. Hannah, does it create the hashtags and the emojis as well?
So you've got all the emojis in, as you get put lots of fun emojis in, especially if you select a tone, you know, like fun or excited and everything. Yes, you've got all the emojis in here. It does create hashtags too. However, you can obviously create and use groups of hashtags that you've saved within Maybe as well. So we have a Christmas group that we will then use. So you can set up one for your campaign that you can literally just click on and obviously add that group to all of your Christmas content then. So saves you copying and pasting or rekeying them all. But I mean, these are great, aren't they? It never fails to amaze me.
And so from this perspective, this being the boring business owner here, is that this content is engaging. It's stops to scroll. You know what? It's added in, spread the festive cheer by tagging your friends who can't resist. What's it? Resist a. Has it finished now?
It does. Sometimes it's the caption limit, so you'd need to kind of finish that off.
So as our tagline says, maybe helps you do your best work faster. So here it's suggesting tag a friend, but you've got to say why. So yeah. The great thing here is what you've now got is the content to hang your ask on. Make sure you read it, and there's just tighten up and finish it, and post it and send it on its way, Hannah. Right?
Yeah, definitely. And all of these are fantastic. You'd use any of these. You really would. And I love the way it's painting the picture of Paris as well. Look for the glimmering shop windows, mouth-watering pastries. Listen for the sweet melody of French carols. It's just
I want to go. I'm there.
I know, but we'll use that one. Click continue. You can edit as much as you want just here. As Polly said, you'd add your call to action. So what do you want people to do? Do you want them to click a link to go and look at your Christmas, gift collection, or your French inspired gift collection, or, whatever you want people to do? If you want them to tag someone in, or if you want them to, mention what their favorite city is, or whatever you want people to do, make sure you obviously put that in your post. And then this hashtag button is where you will see all of your saved hashtags, so you can create groups, and then what it does is you literally click on the group and it will pull those hashtags through. So that's
how much time does that save you, Hannah?
Loads. I mean, even if obviously some people might rekey them all each time, which obviously does take a lot of time, but even if you've got them on another document, you have to go to that document, you have to find the right group, copy them, paste them. So when you times that by the amount of content that you might put out, it might only be a minute each time, but you times that by each post, and it's such a great tool. It really is. It's just having everything in one place. It really is.
And I think what's great about it is that, so for Christmas, any business really wants a different set of hashtags. And so by being able to have this tool, it means that you can be consistently creative, but without having to keep doing the work. Sometimes doing the work blocks you from being creative, doesn't it? Whereas this means it's easier to achieve what you want. Do your best work faster.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. So we're going to hop back over here now. I love that one. I don't know how we're going to beat that one, but we'll we'll keep going. I'm sure we will. So we've got festive colouring pages. This is a nice one, especially if you're a creative business. You can share these on your socials, so they might be something that parents can download and print off, you know, maybe to give them half an hour to do the wrapping or something like that. Or, you know, you can even do this in store, you know, have a nice little corner with a table and some colouring pencils so that the parents can shop while the kids are entertained for 10 minutes. So, you know, it's just a nice idea. You could even work, you know, your business into it. So it might be kind of your store looking very Christmassy in your town. But it's just a nice touch. And again, it's not directly selling what you do, but it is showing off your expertise, showing off your creativity, and, you know, keeping you in the forefront of people's minds as well. So
and activities work for footfall drivers, don't they? It's come in and do stuff.
Yeah.
Hannah, I've got a few questions just popped up. So I meant to say at the beginning, please do use the Q&A function if you've got questions. Question here around can everybody use the AI? 100%. Just as Hannah said, if you haven't yet got a Maybe account, there's been an email that comes out after this inviting you to come to an onboarding session, and we can get you one set up. As a buyer member, you have a fantastic deal. So please don't, if you haven't yet got an account, do jump on. And the AI works for everybody. There's no limits on it. And it will just keep being your best friend. It just keeps helping you, doesn't it, Hannah?
Definitely. Yeah. Oh, it does. It really does.
All right. Sorry, I realized we're crunching through time, Hannah. So there's another question. A couple more actually, which I'll answer privately. So yeah, keep going. And if you've got any questions, please do just drop them in the Q&A.
Yeah, brilliant. Holiday traditions. This is a lovely one because everyone's got their holiday traditions. Everyone's got their kind of, you know, their dish that they cook every year, or, you know, obviously different people celebrate Christmas in different ways. So it's just lovely to share the diversity of how people celebrate. Sarah mentioned that some friends of hers actually have carp on Christmas Day, you know, because that's kind of part of their tradition. So it's just, yeah, it's just nice to kind of share that sort of thing, because there's obviously things that, you know, everyone's got the way they celebrate, but they might not be aware of how other people do and just what those differences are. So just sharing those is a lovely thing to do, and encourage obviously your audience to do the same.
But it's also the inspiration, isn't it? It's thinking about, I don't know about you, but I'm thinking about how good a Christmas is 20. And it's like, what can I do different this year? So anything to inspire. And Christmas, I think the key thing here is, if it's not your business, just actually being, if it's not what your business sells, but you're front of mind, eyeballs are so valuable to you. And being able to be the person that provides insight and inspiration to people is a really valuable currency. So don't feel like it's got to be selling a product. Sometimes just delivering value is more valuable than actually delivering product.
Yeah, definitely. And then next one, snowman building challenge. This obviously very much depends on snow. So it's quite tricky to build a snowman if you don't have any snow. Try, but you know, probably all of us will see, as soon as it snows, everyone's on social media saying, oh, look, it's snowing, even though it's quite obvious that it's snowing. And most people hop outside and try and build a snowman, especially with the kids. And I never fail to be impressed by the people that have got an icing cover dusting of snow, and they still manage to scrape enough together to create a tiny little snowman. But therefore, being part of that conversation is a great thing to do. You know, if it's going on, definitely join in. Or otherwise, you might have a throwback picture to when, you know, you built a snowman outside your store, or everyone got together to build a big snowman in your town square or village green or something like that. You know, just it just all adds to the kind of celebration of winter and celebration of Christmas. So yeah, if there's a big conversation happening online, which there always is when it snows, make sure you're a part of it. But obviously this one says the most creative snowman wins a Frosty prize, you know, so obviously that's encouraging people to post their pictures, but obviously post either on your post or tagging you in, so they've got a chance to actually win a prize. So again, it's kind of just boosting your reach and just getting people talking, you know, on your posts or, you know, about your business. So yeah, I like that one. It does depend.
And the great thing about that, Hannah, is that by getting people to post content, tag your business in, you're just getting awareness. By giving that and giving that value, you're getting huge awareness. End of.
Yeah, totally.
I've got a question that's just come up about how might we add some text on an image, say a speech bubble. So can we, when's our next AI demo, Hannah?
This next one, holiday movie reviews. So everyone loves Christmas films, and therefore getting people talking about what their favorites are and even sharing some trivia is a great idea. So yeah, let's hop back to maybe.
So shall we? Can we try with the image? We want a famous film with a speech bubble on it, saying what did the artist what did they say next? So it's almost like we want to what's a famous movie line?
It's Christmas.
What's a famous movie line?
Should we ask the AI here first?
Yeah.
Famous Christmas movie lines. Oops.
It's the worst thing, typing. I'm a dyslexic idiot. Hannah's really smart, but I find typing on live is just the most horrific thing. So we're going to ask it. Famous movie lines. Provide a brief content description. Yeah, but we want to caption about what are the famous moving lines, and with a tag add them below, isn't it, kind of thing. This is so much fun.
Oh, it really is. Well, do we want to ask it for some famous movie lines so we've got them to then go into the AI to create the images with the speech bubble?
No, I think we can just ask. We want to get the most famous. We want to run a campaign that's trivia about famous lines. Ask people to comment with their favourite lines below.
We'll actually give one line in the copy.
Yeah, so give an example. Give one example we give one example in the copy.
Yeah.
All I can think is Bruce Willis's "Make My Day." Or what was it? What was it? Dirty Harry who said "Make My Day" or whatever. Something like it's all those fun things, isn't it? Movies. Otherwise, if movies. Do we need to say trivia about famous movie lines? Is it about famous movie lines? Trivia in the one of trivia about famous movie lines. Here we go.
Perfect. Right. Should we try Grumpy Polly?
Shall we? Let's try Grumpy. It could be quite funny, actually, couldn't it?
Yes, it is.
I get long as well. See what happens.
There we go.
And then from here we can then use this to create the image, can't we?
Yeah. So take the example line that it gives in the copy. We can then.
So Hannah, how long, as a social media manager, before this was a thing, how long would it take you to come up with this?
Oh, good grief. I mean, you look at this here. This is obviously a long caption. You would sit for, and this is obviously if you're good with words, not everyone is. Everyone's got their different skills. You would sit for 20 minutes, half an hour at least, just writing this and getting it right, tweaking it, and just getting it how you want it. And that's give or take. You might have someone that's great with words and can just, write it straight away. But otherwise, most people would take, quite a while to write this and get it right. This is just written, at the tap of a button, 3 long captions for us. So I mean, you're looking at an hour's work there.
Easily. Right, let's take one line and let's ask the AI to do an image of that one. What's the best one? What are we going to take?
You'll shoot
shout out on the Q&A if anybody wants us to so this is real.
That's the one I was trying to think of, Polly.
Home Alone, keep the change with the animal.
That's the one, isn't it? That's the Home Alone.
So why don't we copy that whole from Home Alone where we have the iconic line, keep the change if you're the animal, and ask them to create an image with a speech bubble of that.
Yeah. So it was down here, wasn't it? That's the line I was trying to think of. I was thinking
take that whole piece of copy and say create an image that represents this and put the words in a speech bubble. Now, obviously, it was a lady that asked this specifically about could you get the AI to put in a speech bubble. The honest answer is I don't know, but we're going to ask it and see what happens. If this doesn't work, obviously you've always got Canva that you can go to, and one of the key things with Maybe is that you've got a media library too. So if you want, for example, the text on an image to be part of your brand, you could create a design on Canva that you have a speech bubble on, and then you pop that in your image library here. So you've got 2 choices. You can use the AI to create images, but you can also use your image library. So you've got both options. This way, we're going completely off-piste and doing it by getting the AI to do it. But you could create a speech bubble style on Canva and then do it whenever you like. But hold on your hats. This is completely unscripted.
I've never done this.
Let's see what happens. How
So
many versions do we ask for?
I asked for one, so I don't know.
That's
Let's-
more. Can we add the quote in the speech? Oh, you put it in the speech bubble.
Yeah, I've
Again.
put that,
Public fail. So frustrating.
but it's all part of learning, isn't it? You kind of it's great when we're asked questions like this because it's things that we've not tried out on the AI before. So whether it's actually
So we've got a great home. Now what you could do this is you could take this image and take it to Canva, and then put the speech bubble on it.
yeah.
So life is never perfect, but it's got you a long way further forward. But you try and you can treat it like a person and create an image showing a kid changing in a speech bubble. If you change it, yeah. So give it another instruction, see what it does. Here we go.
Yeah, I might never have watched Home Alone though, so it's gonna
it's not gonna do it.
so it's not doing that. So it's kind of getting, you can see the images were kind of things that, I mean, that's the other guy out of Home Alone, isn't it? That's
Absolutely.
the guy, that's the one that shouts Kevin all the time. But
absolutely.
Yeah, we live and learn, don't we? But I just love the capabilities of this. So as you say, you'd get the image that you want, and then you'd hop into Canva to put the speech bubble on if you wanted one.
I hope that's hope. I think it was Faith that asked the question. Faith, I hope that's hope. Apologies to public fail. But as you say, you've got the image. You can then take it to Canva and put the speech bubble on it. But I think if you kept talking to it, you would get what you wanted. But you get the idea.
Yeah.
And it's improving. That's the great thing about AI. It's always improving.
But it's what you put in, don't you? So you kind of you have to give it enough detail to create what you want, and sometimes that's a very, very short bit of detail, but other times, as we've just shown, you have to kind of keep talking to it to get what you're actually looking for. But yeah, it's very clever. And then so back to our ideas. So our next one's Christmas delivery tracker. So this is quite a specific one, but it does add to the Christmas magic, like following your delivery or your parcel to your house. So if that's kind of within your capabilities to do, then do it. Or if you work with kind of a delivery company that can do that, why don't you make it a thing, and obviously say to people you can follow your parcel coming to you. Pet photos, I mean, nothing grabs the attention on social more than a very cute furry pet, especially if they've got a Christmas hat on or something like that. So you can encourage people to share their pictures. It might be your pet dressed up as a reindeer or something like that, but share it and you can turn it into a giveaway as that post does. So the cutest pet will win a special treat. That's a lovely one. That is one we looked at with the AI earlier as well. We got some
I bet that did an amazing job.
It did. Yeah, it definitely did. Then got Christmas morning unwrapping. So this is obviously quite a specific one in terms of it would just be Christmas morning, unless obviously you celebrate Christmas another time, because obviously some people have to work on Christmas Day. But it could be either encouraging people to share their photos or videos, especially if they're opening a gift, that's been bought in your store, or it might be you sharing your Christmas celebrations, just to kind of show a bit of behind the scenes, because obviously people deal with people. So obviously, that's a nice one if you're happy to do that and keen to do that. And then we've got DIY Christmas cards. So you can, again, show off your creativity, give people some tips to create their own cards. I think more and more nowadays, people are kind of going back to kind of handmade cards. I remember my granny used to write hundreds of cards and post them before Christmas, whereas not many people do it to that extent anymore, do they? And I think it's kind of more of a select few people. And, more of those people now might be making cards, especially, it's a fun thing to do with the kids as well, I suppose, in the lead up to Christmas. So if you can share some tips and share some creativity on your socials, then that's a lovely idea. And then this is the other one I thought we'd quickly look at the AI on, Polly, was the festive fashion show. So it might be total fancy dress, it might be dressed up as a Christmas pudding, or it might be a beautiful party dress, that you offer in your store, that you're showing people how gorgeous they're looking at in it. But I'm not sure whether I'd go party dress or Christmas pudding, Polly. I'm swaying towards the Christmas pudding, I think. But
definitely go for
let's have a look. So I'll have a quick look at this one. But obviously this is showing how you can bring any of these ideas to life in Maybe. because we've picked 3 quite different ideas. We'll do this one very quickly because you know how it works now. You've seen it in action.
The world's your oyster, everybody. Nobody has any restriction with it. The great thing about it is there's so much talk about AI taking people's jobs away, but right now, from what I see, is it just helps you do your best work faster. It doesn't do it for you. It's like it's given every member of our team an assistant, right? It doesn't threaten your job, Hannah, does it? It doesn't threaten my job. Well, it might do, because it might better than I do, but yeah.
It's totally helped me to do my job better and quicker, so I can do more with my time, so much more with my time.
That's a great line, Hannah. I like that.
I thought I'd be a bit more specific with this because I'm keen to see a Christmas pudding on the catwalk, I think, Polly. So I only asked for one. There we go. That is people, but there was no Christmas pudding there. I'm going to get rid of Santa.
Right.
We'll have a look at this.
I'm just thinking about brandy butter and Christmas pudding. That's my favorite thing at Christmas.
Christmas is so about the food, isn't it?
It's all about food. All about
food. There we go.
Look at that. I love that. Huh? Fancy, perfect. Look at that. People dressed down the catwalk. You can. How long would it take you to go into that? Change that now to let's have it in watercolor.
It's just because again, you wouldn't have an image of festive costumes on a catwalk. Well, you might. Okay. It's unlikely.
I love that. Amazing. Well, I don't know about you, but I'm pretty impressed. Extraordinary.
It is. It's great. And you'd pick whatever suited your brand, wouldn't you?
Yeah. But the time it's just saved you is huge.
Yeah.
And then you do the same with the caption.
Yeah, and it might be, your caption might be that you're running an event that's actually showing people, showing off party dresses and occasion outfits and things, or it might just be, it might just be encouraging people to come to the store and shop with you. But yeah, it's incredible.
Yeah, amazing, absolutely amazing.
So so we're going to try and make it to 80. We might be able to adjust if we whiz through, but as I said, we will share this afterwards, so you'll have all of these to hand. You can go through. But as we said, that's a perfect segue. Christmas is all about food. Christmas baking challenge will show off your baking skills, share photos of your creations, and again, this post turns it into a giveaway, so people can share their special dishes and their secret recipes at Christmas, and have a chance to win a prize. My mouse one, just thinking about all the Christmas food.
And again, remember, it's social, particularly organic social, is not necessarily about trying to sell your thing. It's about giving value back to your customers and getting them to engage in your feeds, because that engagement is what gives you reach. And so all of these ideas around Christmas are very much about giving value, because that's what creates engagement, and that is the new currency. That's what matters.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Winter book recommendations. Lots of people are obviously very into reading, and therefore might have on their Christmas list just some lovely editions of books that they might want. But book recommendations are great, especially if you're a bookstore, but not necessarily. It might work well in a Facebook group that you've got. You might have a really engaged community in a Facebook group that you can then kind of do a bit of a book club, share recommendations, that sort of stuff, or just encourage people to do that on your posts. Well, that's a nice one. Festive video greetings, short message to people, and put it onto YouTube. So again, people deal with people. So, obviously sharing a short video, just spreading the love and wishes at Christmas is just a nice touch on your socials, because obviously you want to wish your customers a lovely Christmas.
Happy Christmas, peeps.
Yeah. Santa's lost gifts, Santa's misplaced some gifts. Follow our Instagram stories as we embark on a treasure hunt to find them, or even come into your store and find them yourselves. Obviously there might be a small prize for people for the kids that find the 5 gifts that are wrapped around that are hidden around the store.
I think, Hannah, what's really interesting about that, have you seen the ad for Cadbury's are doing around the Secret Santa? You know, that's a really clever social campaign, because it's saying, it's not telling you where the posters are. When you see the poster, you can get free chocolate by scanning the QR code. It's just a really clever campaign, very similar to that.
That's great. Yeah.
And what they're grabbing is customer, they're grabbing your details. It's a really clever campaign that runs through social channels too.
Yeah. But also it's a bit of fun, isn't it? You know, obviously for the participant, yeah, oh, I love that. It's great. Few more left for today. So we've got Christmas quiz night. So you could do a virtual Christmas quiz night, or it could be kind of a physical event that you actually run, and obviously compete for a prize. So that's a nice one. Share some Christmas trivia, make it festively themed, and yeah, it's a great idea just to get people engaged or get people attending an event. Festive home decor tour. Show us how you've decorated your home for the holidays and share photos. So again, encouraging people to kind of get involved and share their creativity. But I think a lot of people, you know, thoroughly enjoy the kind of the event of decorating their home and really put a huge amount of effort into it, and therefore would be keen to obviously show it off. So you know, if you encourage them to share it on socials, I'm sure they will. And you can share some tips.
Great way of driving engagement on your feed using that, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it is. Gift wrapping challenge. I think this is definitely a kind of one end of the spectrum or the other, isn't it? You're either a pro at wrapping or not very good at all.
I'm a nightmare. But the edges always stick out, and you run out of sellotape, and oh my gosh.
Nice square or rectangular gift, that's okay, but things don't always come in that shape, do they? Trying to wrap a football is just not a good thing. So get people sharing obviously their pictures, because I do love that kind of trying to wrap presents beautifully, and then they also are part of the decor under the tree, aren't they? But I think I start well, and then I kind of I get to the store and it just all goes to pot.
You start well, and then then you get to the point where you're over it, don't you? But
Yeah,
but inspiration for that is great. And again, it's another footfall driver for, you know, this is for independent retailers. Great way to you know, either we'll wrap them for you, and then you do the behind the scenes of how you wrap them. I'd go to a shop that can wrap my gifts for me, definitely. So sharing tips on how to wrap them, just a really great, it's a really great value giver either way, whether you do it on store, in store, as well as physically online as well. Really, really valuable.
Definitely. And this is our last one. We're not going to end by singing, Polly, are we? We hadn't planned to.
Please.
Christmas karaoke.
Please, no.
You can share yourself singing on your feeds, and obviously encourage other people to as well. Some people might be happy to, others not. I think it depends on whether you can sing naturally, but it's just a fun one, yeah. And if you're happy to get the microphone out and warm up those vocal cords at Christmas, then share some videos of you doing it, because your audience are bound to love it, whether you can sing or not. I think in some ways, actually, yeah, the entertainment value of trying to hit the high notes for Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas. No, yes, I'm not going to try.
That's painful. That's painful.
Yes.
But actually, again, with social posts, for reels, using trending audio, massively valuable, isn't it? So that's a good one to link with trending audio.
Definitely. Yeah. Oh, totally. And